Thank you, Honorable Deputy Speaker. This is a matter that is not new, and I'm certain it is in the minds of all the honorable members of this House and the people that we represent. It has been lurking on as an issue of great concern, but it has never been brought on the floor of this august House, which I feel is the most appropriate platform where matters concerning our society should be taken up for discussion. Hence, this issue of the mushrooming of organizations, unions, and associations in our state is brought today in your presence. Sir, we have a total of 7,952 registered societies, organizations, and unions, out of which 5,922 are inactive, and about 2,030 societies are active and has been renewing their registration over a period of time. I am also given to understand that documents pertaining to those prior to 2013 have been misplaced, and they could not retrieve the accurate numbers. But whatever is there post 2013, this is the figure we have with us. We have traveled as an infant state, and in our journey as a state for more than 60 years, we understand that any progressing society and state will encounter all types of obstacles on the negative side or the positive sides of life. And such vices, not only mushrooming of unions and organizations, but many, many other vices must have crept into our society's way of life, unconsciously. So today, we don't stand here to blame anybody by pointing our fingers to the yesterday generations or those leaders who have held the reins of this state immediately preceding us. It is quite natural that we learn from our mistakes. And this is one area which awaken our senses. It's a wake-up call, and in 60 plus years of statehood, it's a long time. And maybe it is the right occasion for us to take a reality check on ourselves and see how we have come along, how we are faring now, and how we will be encountering the future as a people together, more so as a state together. So here, it is only befitting for our House and the honorable members in whom our people have reposed their unflinching support in the mandates that we have received and are here today. Sir, socializing coming together, forming platforms, unions for association is very natural. But there's a limit to everything. And when it crosses the boundaries, it is time to put a hold on the growth and the progress of these organizations. With exception to the field of sports and in the field of music, which are professionals and become professions, whose individuals earn returns for themselves as well as the state and the nation by way of their participation. And they have to keep encountering the challenges in the world in the front of performance, because it is a recurring activity, continuous activity every year. In the field of sports, records are set every other year above the last year's. And there are cases where sportsmen fight their own records and break their own records again to perform better. So it is a continuous process, which is why it is necessary for them to continually engage in their activities, no matter what. The same goes for the field of arts and music, where humans continuously churn up new songs, new lyrics, and become at the chart of the billboards continue to change in every nation and continents. So that challenge is always faced by people in these two areas, which is why they are the exception and the activities must continue for the greater interest of our government, themselves, and our societies. But besides these two fields, we all have our experiences, how unions, associations, start from the kale, almost the family level, from the kales and the wards, then we come to the villages, it goes up to the area, to the ranges, then it comes to the areas, it comes to the district, then it comes to the state levels. So organizations are formed at all these levels. And different types of organizations are involved. It is not only the students' union to start with. It is not only the youth societies. We have the women's societies also. We have the religious organizations also. We have the public organizations by way of sub-tribal, subdivisional, and sub-tribal organizations. Then we have the tribal organizations, which is the tribal apex bodies. So in this way, all these organizations and much, much more, which I will not go into details, but I'm sure you already know what I mean. Your minds are racing. Every conceivable group of people wants to associate themselves as a union, as an organization. This has been going on, and it is unstoppable. Their growth has become unstoppable. Today, they are flourishing. Every other organization has to have one organization again at different level. That is why it has multiplied into thousands today. And we are not able to control the growth anymore. Now, if they exist and they are dormant, it is all right. But they are actively engaged at all levels, starting from the grassroots up to the state. All this line, the tribal, the students, the cultural, the religious, the public relations are all hyperactive at their own levels. And it is an annual practice for organizations to engage in activities like they need to have sessions, the executive sessions. And in most cases, they have the emergency meetings, emergency sessions. Then they have their tools, they have their campaigns, they have their exhibitions, they have their festivals, they have their symposiums and seminars, they have their general and annual conventions, all at the same time. And it is an annual practice. Now, this involves heavy expenditures. It is costing us, it is taxing us heavily on our financial resources. All members and non-members also have to extend whatever support they can to the activities of these organizations. It has become obligatory. We are not under threat, but it has become a social obligation, compulsive behavior. And the organizations take undue advantage of this. So, besides other political organizations, these social organizations have very sadly become a burden to our society today. Leaders of all walks of life at every level, officers of all departments, well-to-do citizens, business community, you name it, sir. Everybody has fallen under the scanner of these tax regimes. And so today, their expenses to manage their activities have risen tenfold from the time when we started. Life has become very expensive. And we do not know how to keep our expenditures low. We always seek for the most luxurious, the most convenient way of having our general conference, our meetings, our tours, whatever activities engaged. There's a sense of competition, false pride, false competition, false sense of competition in us. That the more we spend and the more the standard of the program papers also, the way it is conducted. The purpose is forgotten. It has taken a backseat. It is the way that we can organize it in the most expensive, grand manner. Then people look up to it, embrace it. What meeting took place, what resolution was passed, what decision was made, the effect, impacts, consequences are become secondary. It is the way that we manage the show which counts. So, besides draining our financial resources, it's a wastage of time. The output, the product of these conventions, sessions are minimal. The input and investment is maximum in times of, in the sense of time also. How much time goes into organizing one? You think of the office bearers, sleepless nights they have, weeks together, months together, trying to organize, running around, raising funds. What about the participants? Weeks together to practice. Everything, and all the other accessories that they will require to make this a grand success. Everything goes without when compared to output and effect. So, sir, I think it is time that we take up this issue and try to control our organizations, our people, educate them, teach them that we do not have so many organizations all together, again and again at the same level for the same purposes.
It's important and most of all a little sensitive topic, and therefore I would request you to be a little generous in the time allotment. Well, in fact, I intended not to participate in this discussion because it'll appear that it's like a politics of vendetta where I am caught in a controversy, or I don't know which term you use it, or in the limelight because of the NFHRCC Foothill Committee statement. They have called me just a mere MLA. Honorable Deputy Speaker, sir, I'm not just a mere MLA. I'm an honorable MLA, elected through the process of democratic norms, and therefore I would like to inform this House through your chair that I'm not just a mere MLA. They have also said that therefore, said that no one cannot undermine or suppress the ways of the public, and if anyone intended to do so, would face consequence. That was the language they have used when they issued press statement. This is quite threatening actually, but I chose not to reply because we are a leader. We should be capable of receiving any criticism. And I'm also always reminded of what Winston Churchill used to say, that you will never reach your destination if you stop and throw stone to every dog that barks. And therefore, although they have hit me below the belt, but I choose not to reply. Well, Honorable Deputy Speaker, sir, it's a very sensitive matter because Naga society is a very simple, but it's also a very complex society. And the civilization that we have evolved thus far is something very different from the Indian system that we have inherited and running a government. If you go back to ancient Greek society, the ancient Greek city-states, where it is said that democracy evolved from the ancient Greek city. But Naga society evolved this democracy from long before, let us say time immemorial. And our system of forming an association, our system of governing is quite different from the rest of the world. As I said, I thought not to expound on this, but since our Honorable Parliamentary Affairs Minister wished that I also participate, and he has already thrown some light on how our organization functions. There could be some differences of opinion or variations in our approach. But since it is discussion under Rule 50, which doesn't require necessarily a resolution, therefore, all this may be considered as a view from our own personal perspective. Well, Nagas are fond of political science and history. The rest, math and science, will leave it to the mainland Indians to study. For us, we focus more on political science and history. And therefore, we all are aware of various political theories propounded by Greek political philosophers like Aristotle, Plato, Rousseau, so on and so forth. One phrase which I like is about what Aristotle said. Man is by nature a social animal because they cannot survive alone. He also said not only a social animal, but he also believes that humans are political animals because they have the power of speech and moral reason. So let us categorize ourselves within that parameter of a political animal, where we can speak for our people and also reason for them. Now, in the context of India, when the Article 19(1)(c) of the provision, which is a part of the Part 3 of the Indian Constitution, fundamental rights guaranteed to the citizens to form an association and be a member of that association. Well, during the course of the debate, the founder of the chairman of the drafting committee, we all know Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, he was very vocal that the citizen should be given enough opportunity, enough avenues for free speech as well as to form an association. Well, while dwelling on this subject, I'm afraid if we are not careful, we will be construed as if we are trying to stifle, strangulate the rights of our people. And therefore, on the legal aspect, I wanted to throw light that this is a basic structure of the Indian Constitution, not only from the point of view of the chairman of the drafting committee, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, but 1973 judgment of the Supreme Court in the Gizavananda Paradise case, where the basic structures of the Constitution cannot be easily amended even by the parliament. Such kind of stringent measures have been adopted, and these rights have been extended to the people, to each citizen, to form an association, freedom of speech, so on and so forth. So these are further strengthened by the judgment and order of the Supreme Court. If we come back to the international context, the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, 1948, also extend that particular rights of forming an association to propound their aims and objectives to the citizens. And that has been a part of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. And not only that, even other organizations like International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights, the International Covenant on Economic, Social and Cultural Rights, and International Labor Organizations conventions. So these are recognized legal provisions, enough protections have been given to the citizens to form an associations. As I say, even in the Indian context, it is provided under Article 19(1)(c) of the Indian Constitution. And therefore, our state, as a state machinery, a mechanism, a state machinery, of course, a little power is extended to us, but since this is a part of the fundamental rights, which the state assembly is of course not very competent to dwell on the amendment of the constitution, it is empowered to the parliament. So therefore, what we will try to make an attempt to contextualize in our context on this issue is how do we sensitize our people in minimizing, let us say, we cannot stop them from establishing or organizing the organizations, forming an organizations. So it is a matter of sensitizing our people, the pros and cons, the negative and positive impact of forming an organization. As far as the registered society, which our Honorable Parliamentary Affairs Minister was reading out, about how many 7,952 registered organizations. I hope the number is correct. We have to differentiate. Deputy Speaker, sir. There are non-governmental organizations, NGO, that registered within the registration of cooperative societies. That is it. So most of these non-governmental organizations, NGOs, functions organized for some particular projects. We are informed that many have become, of course, non-functional, but there are quite a lot who are still in operation. But I think that the concern that we have is not on that line. That would be a little different, because it is about forming an NGO for some particular project. The officers here will know better. But what we are concerned is what our Honorable Parliamentary Affairs Minister was talking about, mushrooming of, let us say, proliferation of various associations. This is a matter of concern, of course, as I was referring to the Nagaland Foothill Road Coordination Committee. A committee itself started, threatening even an elected member, also the entire structure of the department. This is where we are going wrong. I think there should be a benchmark, an association forming for certain aims and objectives. They should focus on that instead of jumping on the government. We are also being equally elected by our people. And therefore, anything that we do, anything that we plan is always in the interest and always for the welfare of our people. In as much as they think that they are also doing for the welfare of their people, of our people. So we are actually of the same wavelength of thinking process. But we are actually crossing the limit somewhere in our functioning. This is where we have to curb by way of sensitizing. But if we say that we enact a law and curb the organization, I think while we are telling others not to jump beyond their jurisdiction, we may be also committing a mistake going beyond our jurisdiction. This is what I'm a little afraid of. And therefore, the sensitization is important unless there is a benchmark up to what extent an organization should function and up to what extent they can come in the day-to-day functioning of our society. Everything will go haywire. There will be anarchy in our society. And this is where our society will not survive. We are a very young society as a Naga family. And therefore, we should be very careful and also tell our people that, look, what we intend to do in this 14th house, the 60 members here, is not to stop you in forming the organization. But see, if it is at all not necessary, please don't do that. Because it is draining our resources, as our Honorable Minister has cited some examples. A lot of our resources are being drained out for functions which are not actually called for, not necessary at all, but because of the proliferations of organizations, even our economy as well as our daily lives are being impacted, and sometimes these people jamming into the functioning of the government, which is a very dangerous drain for our people. Well, I don't want to go further. We have the budget speech coming up. I would like to end by what I used to, apart from reading, Honorable Deputy Speaker said, I love reading. Apart from reading, I also enjoy watching committee. And one of the committee that I've seen is our Naga boys and girls, very popular, Dreams Unlimited. They have one video, Dreams Unlimited, association pon Kurala association. I was watching that one. So one day, so itu movie to ami phal pura narrate koribo na pare olibi. Ki koribo le aishe ko ama khan to early morning wakers association. Morning de chayega na mano ko thai dia. To aro chaise ama khan to itu musor ena kori thakisile ami video sa to do victims of mosquito bite association. Aro ekta itu khodo bagina ta kort jaisile itu talaga bajake koise to social media workers warriors association. So last day though, action mano do aise association to stop association born koralaga association. I think there is a lot of message in that Dreams Unlimited movie, which I think every Naga must watch that one. It's very interesting, well encouraging also the local artists in promoting our own movie. I would like to end, Deputy Speaker sir, but by saying that, see, governance, yes, I know that part of the government. We are all trying our level best to deliver goods to the public, to our people. But at the moment, Naga people appears to have seen governance only in the urban areas. It is not trickling down to the rural areas. And that is also, in a way, indirectly encouraging various associations coming up to challenge the government in doing some welfare work, sometimes in a cynical way, sarcastic way, not that they have genuine concern. So such are the things to show to the government. So therefore, while trying to also change the system, I also would like to urge all of us, including me, that we must be attentive to the needs of our people, trickle down the governance to the rural areas, and ensure that only a tribal society like us, it's a very complex society, but we will not dilute the organization. As far as our Hohos are concerned, it is actually a very unique institution. So the thing that we discussed today should not be misconstrued, misinterpreted, but our concern of unnecessarily mushrooming of an organization for certain benefits, to end certain needs. I think that is somewhere we are going wrong, and therefore that needs a correction, and we need to take a prompt step towards this end. Thank you very much.
In the discussion on the topic, mushrooming of union and associations in Nagaland, initiated by the Honorable Minister for Power and Parliamentary Affairs under Rule 50. So we have started the session from 9:40. It is almost going to be 3:30, but we are still in item number 2. And therefore, I thought of sharing 10-15 points, but I will cut down to just 5 important points. Sir, as shared by our senior, I called Sir Achubemo. I also hesitated initially to participate in this topic because I had a long association with student bodies and other social organizations. And in fact, those platforms were the place where I got my recognition, where I built my identity. And therefore, today, talking about the unions and associations, I thought people may misunderstood our sharing today. But on a second thought, after going through the topic, I realized that it is a pertinent issue. Yes, as mentioned earlier, we may not adopt any resolution today, and this House doesn't have the authority also to stop any organization or to ban any organization, but I feel that we must discuss, we must deliberate, so as to create certain awareness to the people through this platform. Sir, sometimes I feel if the formation of new associations or unions or organizations were considered an achievement, then definitely Nagaland will be on the top of the list of achievers. We call Nagaland as the land of festivals. It is quite appropriate. But seeing the mushrooming of the organizations and unions, we will also qualify to call Nagaland as the land of unions and associations also. So yes, sir, there are so many organizations who are doing genuinely for the welfare of the people. We appreciate those. But to be very blunt, we don't need those unprotective organizations in our society anymore. So sometimes I wonder how many crores of rupees the associations and organizations, the unions together must be spending in a year in different functions and activities. I'm also curious to know how many crores these organizations must have saved on food, mementos, monoliths, presentations during the COVID. So I remember one senior officer telling me he saved a few lakh rupees during the COVID. Had it been a normal year, he would be spending that much amount of money on donations to certain organizations which he or she or you and I cannot say no. We cannot avoid because we are obligated. We Nagas could survive, sir. We survived without general meetings. We survived without the conference or any festivity, jubilees during the COVID. Here, I'm not trying to say that there should be no general meetings, no conference, no. So I'm not saying that. What I'm trying to say is we must try to learn some lessons, some valuable lessons out of this period in order to take certain austerity measures in future. So I want to cite one incident here. 2022, a student group, a degree student group, they approached me, they requested me to be the chief guest in their conference. Their conference was for 3 days. I agreed to their request, but on one condition. I told them, rather requested them, that they should pass a resolution in that conference that henceforth their conference will be only for a day, not 3 days. Because I feel that they should be in their classroom, not assembled here in Kohima and for 4 nights and 3 days, listening to speeches and exhortations. I will not name the group, but I want them, these students, to be professional, to be masters in their professions. But unfortunately, I had other engagements. I attended the National Doctors Association program that day, so I missed your program. And maybe since I failed to keep my word, they also did not take that resolution, I think. Because the next year, I saw in the paper, their next conference was held, and that is again for 3 days. So as the saying goes, there is a saying, all is not lost, or all is not gone. I know few organizations who have understood the importance of cutting down this unnecessary expenditures, unnecessary waste of energy, resources, time. And that is, one is my range. Just now, Honorable Member Ugunduk Ludashi also mentioned my range, Langbangkong. Our Apex Langbangkong Range Union, we have decided that henceforth the conference, earlier it was 3 days, will be only for 1 day. We celebrated the conference at Yaung Old, that is a Chang village, with 300 delegates, and for just 1 day affair. So what is interesting is the entire budget, both for the host village and the organization, was just 9 lakhs. It was not much of a burden. Again, my range students union, they have also taken a decision that henceforth the conference will be for just one day. They are going to celebrate in my village next year, January, with just 300 delegates. And in fact, I was so happy to hear from my village council that the budget is just 4 lakhs. And if I'm lucky, they will not ask me that budget. So I was so happy. And I'm sure the budget of the LKM, the students also, must be just 3-4 lakhs. So this year January, the Ompongkong Mongtang, that is the apex union of the Ompongkong range, Honorable Speaker Sharingan Longkamber, or Honorable Minister Sir Matsabo, Honorable Advisor of Koimpong is there, Honorable Advisor of Koimpongbar, all of them are from the Ompongkong range, the most powerful range from Mochung district. They have also taken a decision to have such conference, just one day affair. It was held at Kansa. So, sir, I think we should appreciate such initiative by this apex organization. And therefore, I want to make an appeal to all the civil society organizations, the student bodies, or other unions. They must prioritize their activities. They must streamline their functioning and approach, so much so that while their objectives are fulfilled, they should also not burden others too much. Sir, finally, as mentioned earlier, we are not the authority to stop any organizations or to ban any organizations. However, what we can do is, we all as leaders must continue to sensitize our people at every level and at every point. So with this few submissions, I thank once again, sir, for giving me this opportunity to participate in this discussion. Thank you so much, sir.
As I rise to participate for discussion on matters of public importance, one question that immediately strikes my mind is, what is the rarest thing in Nagaland? And the immediate answer that comes to my mind is, the rarest thing in Nagaland is to encounter an individual who is not affiliated with any association or union, ranging from the student unions and trade unions to religious groups and various other unions and associations, each with its unique aims and objectives. While these groups often serve as a crucial platform for member welfare and grievances redressal, and yet beneath their seemingly apathetic facade, the instances where association merely becomes sources of problems rather than solution. Honorable Speaker, sir, we are all aware that the Indian Constitution under Article 19, Clause 1, Subclause C, empowers the Indian citizen to form union and an association with peaceful objectives that contribute to member welfare without compromising the nation's sovereignty, integrity, or their state interests. However, question persists about the intention of some unions and associations, as instances abound where the individual feel forced into joining, fearing isolation or disownment. Adding to the complexity, many association unions imposed steep membership fees and additional charges. While some fees serve noble purpose, there are cases where funds are diverted for personal expenditure by those in power. Moreover, fines for violating self-made laws and regulations raise concern about the accountability and fairness. Another crucial aspect is the competitive nature among the unions and associations in Nagaland, competing for popularity, power, and influence in our society. This competition often leads to divisions among people, fostering tribalism instead of unity. The way forward requires a collective understanding that no association or union should yield the power to compel the individuals into membership. Article 21 of the Indian Constitution guarantees only the right to personal liberty, providing individuals with freedom to make choices without external interference. Honorable Deputy Speaker, empowering individuals to be aware of their rights becomes of paramount importance in negating this landscape, fostering an environment where personal choices are respected and the genuine welfare of membership remains the primary focus. The journey towards a more transparent and accountable union and association landscape is crucial for overall well-being and unity of the Nagaland community. Honorable Deputy Speaker, sir, while the state government drafts for Nagaland Trade Union back to 1980, the scenario was uncomplicated since there were hardly any unions or associations during that time. And now, with the mushrooming of motley of trade unions, association of complex nature, it has become necessary to make a new revised legislation. Once the regulation is approved by the state government, any trade union association who wish to register must fulfill the criteria of the Nagaland Trade Unions Association as compared to trade unions of other states. Most of the unions association in Nagaland would be simply to collect the money. A negative trade, which is practiced by trade unions of the other states, where there is no such collection. It is to state that the number of bogus trade unions here in Nagaland, that from a total of 80 trade unions in Nagaland, only 30 of them were found to be genuine, as stated by the Labour Commissioner Nagaland on 18 June 2017. Honorable Speaker, sir, as a responsible elected member, it's time for us to tell our Naga brothers and sisters that living in delusion, we should wake up and face the realities of our pathetic negative existence. Honorable Deputy Speaker, sir, Nagaland today are more divided than ever before. We have scores of underground factions surpassing the English alphabet number in total. I hope we Nagas are not becoming a laughing stock in the eye of the government of India, as we have always been portrayed as seekers of share money, and that they may be indirectly fomenting more divisions among the Naga society. Honorable Deputy Speaker, sir, there are unions, association groups. As you walk across the road, what is the commonest thing that you see when you walk around the road or the streets of town or cities? You see on either side signboard of unions and association here and there and so. This sort of practice has to be looked into, and we have to come to a logical conclusion. Honorable Speaker, sir, today, even our churches are thoroughly divided, with every disgruntled, overzealous members who want to be pastor or treasurer forming a new church in every adjacent vicinity or locality, to the extreme limit of going even to the courts for adjudication of church property cases, which is highly abominable. Mushrooming of unions and associations are getting Nagas nowhere to unity. Well, everyone shouts hoarse about unity, yet our actions are actively dividing us each day. Honorable Deputy Speaker, sir, when we as Nagas learned, in the next millennium, perhaps, as there is no light at the end of the tunnel, when we see we are driving ourselves to the road of perdition and hell. If the Lord Jesus Christ had been with us today, he would have said to us what he said to the people of Capernaum, according to Matthew 11:23, where he said, "You, the people of Capernaum, you shall go down to hell, to Hades, to perdition, because of your persistent sin and rebellion and disobedience." And also, he would say, even to the association, what he said to the people of Jerusalem in Jeremiah 9:11, where he says, "The people of Jerusalem shall be in a desolate ruins, shall be in a place, shall become a heap of ruins." Well, he will make not only the unions and the association a desolate ruins or a desolate place, but even to us, he is telling the same thing. If we do not keep his commandments, obey, and do what he wants us to do as the elected members by his grace, by his mercy, and by his compassion, and to bring glory and honor to his name. In India, union and association often led to strike affecting the productivity, always causing economic deficiency. In India, first ever strike was started by the Indian industrial workers in March 1862, and within 9 years of its formation, they went on strike demanding less working hours. In the same year, 1,200 railway workers of Howrah station went on strike demanding less working hours to not beyond 8 hours. Factory union was first formed in India in the year 1875 in order to improve the working conditions of the workers. And a factory law was accordingly passed in the year 1881 to improve the working condition of the workers. After 2 years, that is 1877, factory union workers went on strike again, demanding the hike in the wages payment in Nagpur Impress Mill. So again, a factory law was passed to improve the condition of the workers and also the increase of wages. In India, with all these problems, the Industrial Dispute Act of 1947, Central Service Rules Conduct Rule of 1964, and the Essential Service Maintenance Act of 1981 were passed, where strikes were declared illegal, not because of object, but because of breach of statutory provisions. The core concept of a union and association should be an attempt to facilitate a more structured, transparent, and productive relationship between the government and its people, between the employers and the employees. But today we see unionization is just doing the opposite, having the opposite effect. Honorable Deputy Speaker, sir, Nagaland state government has only 88 major departments, but it is said that there's not less than 10 to 15,000 unions or associations. And therefore, at this juncture, it is become our responsibilities as the elected honorable members of this August House to make necessary regulation and laws with proper essential criteria to grant the permission of forming union and an association, so that the union and the association is formed for the welfare of the people, cooperating and strengthening the government for all-round inclusive progress and development of the state. Honorable Deputy Speaker, sir, however, I would like to suggest, as the honorable legislatures, we should also know the government good overall relationship with the union and the association, so that the work can carry on, the duty can go on smoothly. With the support from the right workplace environment, number 2, government relationship initiatives and the union and association management tools. The Nagas cannot progress without hard work. We all know that the result of working less hours cannot be compared with long hours of working. And so, I suggest that every Naga, young or old, should work not less than 8 to 11 hours if you are to become stable economically and financially independent. And This step may stop the formation of the union and the unnecessary association. To stop the mushrooming of the union and association in Nagaland, we, as the elected members of this August House, must take all necessary initiatives to actively engage all our youths, unemployed youth especially, in various training such as skill labor training, handicrafts, games and sports, music, arts, entrepreneurship, etc., so that everyone in Nagaland becomes economically and financially independent by the grace of God. I would like to conclude with a word taken from the Bible, from the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 12, verses 13 to 14, which says, "Let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. Fear God and keep his commandment, for this is the whole duty of man. For everyone shall give an account of himself to God in the day of judgment. Every sacred thing shall be brought to judgment, whether it be good or evil." Thank you, Deputy Speaker Kuknalan. Thank you.
Deputy Speaker, I rise to give my concluding remark on the discussion of mushrooming of union and associations in Nagaland. Discussion on this, which was raised by KJKJ on the Rule 50. I am happy that all the honorable members who spoke, led by KJKJ, who raised the issue, they are concerned about our society having so many organizations. And it is also an issue for our society, because any society who doesn't have an apex body and try to regulate things in their own aims, individual, group, community, and want to have the way out. And our society has no kings, no rulers, no governance in our society. Only lately, when Christianity came, education came, then we have come thus far. As mentioned, the registration and the functioning under Society Registration Act 1860 is an act of Government of India. So, in Nagaland, Home Department is designated as registrar of societies under this act. Then registration to govern the Nagaland Societies Registration Act 2017. The purpose of which registration can be done in a governance by Section 20 of the Act. This includes charitable societies, societies established for the promotion of science, literature, or the fine arts for instruction, societies for the diffusion of useful knowledge, societies for the diffusion of political education, societies for the foundation or maintenance of libraries or reading rooms for general use among members or open to the public, or the societies for public museums, galleries, painting, and other works of arts, collections of natural history, mechanical and philosophical invention, instruments, or design. So when we look at these guidelines, and further, application of Act to Nagaland is governed by 3 amendments specified in the state. First amendment 1969, second is 1984, and the third amendment is 1984. As per this amendment made by the state, registration require fulfilling of 10 criteria such as submission of forms, payment of fee of ₹2,000, verification report by the ESC, SDO Civil, District Planning and Development Board must recommend the state registration. Another one is validity of registration is for 2 years as per section 3A1. And also should be renewed within 3 months of expiry. Fee renewal is 500. Late fine is 2,000 rupees. The section 23 inserted the Second Amendment Act in 1984 allows the cancellation of registration on 3 counts. Then office cases to be in Nagaland, activities are subversive to the object of the society, aims and objects. After giving opportunity to members of being heard, then registration has been wrongly obtained against provision of the Act. So all these provisions and laid down government rules had been violated in many cases, and today number of societies in Nagaland given registration date is, up to date is 7,952, as some of you had mentioned. 2,064 societies have been for renewal till date. 244 societies are newly registered, that is up to 2023. And in the 17 district, the highest is Dimapur, 700 plus new registration, Kohima 471, Peg 153, Mogokchund 128, Tungsan 109. So those are above 100, and I'm not going to read the new ones. So that means those people who are seeking for their registrations also failing their duty, and verification officers or the department, when they do not come for renewal after given specific time or who are defunct, it should be cancelled. But it is only accumulating the size. And therefore, today we have so many organizations doing what they want to do. Nagaland is a tribal state. And because all the tribes have their own traditional festivals, we call Nagaland as a land of festival. But one governor told me that, no, sir, you are wrong. I will call Nagaland land of jubilees. So why? Because so many thousand societies are registered. So they will celebrate anniversaries, then silver jubilee, diamond jubilee, golden jubilee, and all kind of celebrations. Then having meeting, having conventions or activities. So as mentioned by many speakers who have said, it must be spending in terms of crores and crores of rupees. And if all this organization, if we go on celebrating on all the occasions, every village will be celebrating of some anniversaries or jubilees or some club organizations also. So this discussion is definitely very good to create awareness among the public. As mentioned, we are not here to pass a resolution or to dictate terms with anybody. But those who are not working according to the guidelines, we have to sensitize. Those who are not working according to their constitution, bylaws and objectives, we should reduce. Therefore, it is very good that this August House initiated a discussion, deliberated and creating awareness among our society. Our community is very good. I would like to advise the Home Department to go into all this detail and segregate Group A, Group B, Group C. In what category? And then what should remain and what should go? And then all these who are functioning as per their aims and objectives and their activities for the welfare of the people, as I had read out the guidelines. And if there is a clear working paper that we can deliberate here in the House or we can deliberate in the Cabinet to take a decision. Otherwise, this open discussion will not help us, or there will be reaction. Without substance, if anything decision is to be taken also, we need substantive reasons. And therefore, I think that should be enough for the discussion. And I thank all the honorable members for speaking out your mind to create awareness in a society, particularly under Rule 50 pertaining to this mushrooming of union and association in Nagaland, raised by Honorable Member Sri K.G. Kine, Minister. Thank you.